We return to a previous story on the state of security affairs in Benue State and the president's visit to Makurdi. To discuss this with us, we have Emmanuel Ikule. Emmanuel, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. You're welcome, Emmanuel. Now, Emmanuel, what does the president's visit to Benue signify to you?
Now, for me, when you look at the visit, the first thing that comes to mind is this solidarity to actually sympathize and empathize with the people of Benue State, citizens of which is the number one, to console them for what they are actually experiencing currently. It also signifies more of actually having a first-hand information on what has happened and to see for himself the magnitude at which it has happened, for him to see the need to empower people that have been displaced, to also see if security agencies in the state are actually working or they are playing lip service. It's also an opportunity to have an interaction because this is the first time he's actually visiting the state since he has been president, and to see for himself and see how maybe he is coming, be able to also bring certain stakeholders together and see how collectively listen to voices of people and see how he can also answer the yearnings of the people at the same time, also listen to the divergent views of people in the state currently.
Hi, Emmanuel. The topic of security, whether federal or state, is still a very debatable one. So given that security remains on the exclusive legislative list, how can state governments, like in Benue State here, be empowered constitutionally or maybe even administratively to respond to the security threats like they are experiencing now, and effectively so?
When the president came on board, I think one of the first things he was concerned about was ensuring that we have a state police. And I think these are some of the reasons why a lot of persons advocate for state police. And to look at the question particularly which you asked, I know a lot of states and even regions that have gone above board to defend their people because the essence of every government is actually security of lives and property. And when you are failing to protect the people, because you are there to represent them, you are there to serve them. But in a situation where you are failing to do that, then other states at different times have actually sought for local means to address concerns. We have vigilante, local security agencies working. I remember in 2018 when Benue State was attacked, Kwara State empowered their vigilante to defend their people. In Yobe State, when the issue of Boko Haram started in that location and police were culprits or part of the conspiracy in giving back information to these criminals, and which led to the killing of most of citizens, what the community did was to work with vigilante. In fact, they believed more in vigilante at that time because vigilante were actually among them and going out to defend them. And different other examples I can give. There's a Motekun in Southwest also working towards ensuring peace and security. So it's good enough that the state government should wait on the federal government to work through the military, the police. But in situations where they are failing, I don't think he needs to wait until the federal government permits it, because it's working in connection with the federal government before you can empower local security agencies to defend the state, since the federal powers are refusing to work for the states. Then the state should be empowered to defend itself. That is just how it works.
I hear you there. States should at least be able to defend themselves, you say. But let's talk about the victims now. Should the federal government, in your opinion, consider compensation for the victims, or maybe at least reparation for the victims of these repeated attacks, do you think?
Every sensible government will actually think about that. Just imagine a scenario where you are living in your house and you just discover that you are being burnt, right? And your whole family is being wiped out, including the provisions that you had with you, it means one, you have become displaced automatically because you cannot stay back in the place where you were living. Automatically, you are displaced. Secondly, you may even be sick and traumatized as a result of what happened to you. You need compensation is just one of it. Providing food, NFIs, and all that, it's just one of it. Compensation can just be one of it. There's also supposed to be services like trauma healing services and others, psychosocial support, free medical attention for these persons, at least for a period of time till they get back on their feet. And one other shocking revelation or shocking thing I will also say is this. Displacement started first in Benue State before Northeast. The Northeast was given more prominence than, more attention than the Benue State. And as we speak, before even this recent attack, we had 21 camps, IDP camps in the state. So with this attack, we have more than 25 or more.
Oh, Emmanuel, let's go back to that. Why do you think? Why do you think
say that the whole state now is an IDP camp?
Why do you think that the other parts of Nigeria were given priority over Benue State? Let's explore that now.
I think first of all is the connections. Nigeria works with connections. No matter how badly you are being affected, no matter how poor the situation is, if you are connected to people that have access to the seat of power, you get more attention. Middle Belt from time immemorial have never been the president. So even though they try to be close, there are limitations to what they can do. And another thing again is about the PR, or should I say the publicity of things happening in the state. When state governments are more like in control of what is being reported, it limits the actual report coming out, because for a state like Benue, which is filled with more of civil servants that have little, or should I say most of their resources are from farming or civil service salaries they receive, there's little or more to independent reporting because you won't be able to feed. So such persons try as much as possible to report what is in line with what the government wants, because the government will still want to retain power, and anything that looks in reporting, anything that will tarnish their image, they try to fight against it. That is why situations, even recently with all these killings and attacks, people came out to protest. The same police that couldn't go out with helicopters to attack these criminals actually came out and shot people. So as we even discuss, as we are discussing currently, there are people in the hospital because of bullet wounds by law enforcement officers. This happened just some days ago. So it shows you how much the government does not even want that even if you are being killed, shut up. So the Section 39, which talks about freedom of expression, is no longer of relevance in the country, as no longer recognized, just like a Section 33, which speaks about right to life. Because Benue State, for me, or how I'm seeing it, it means we don't really have life, or our life is not worth it.
All right.
That is why people can stroll in, kill people, and go back unattended to.
Emmanuel Ikule, thank you very much for giving us your afternoon to discuss matters inside of Benue State. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I'm hoping that we could, the government can equally work towards implementing the open grazing prohibition bill and ensure that protesters are being freed. This will go a long way, actually.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.